Hello, my name is Vishakha Suryavanshi. Today I will tell you about blood. Blood is the body fluid in the circulatory system of humans and vertebrates that delivers necessary substances such as nutrients and oxygen to the cells and transports metabolic waste products away from those same cells. Blood is composed of blood cells suspended in blood plasma which constitutes 55% of blood fluid is mostly water, that is 92% by volume, and contains proteins, glucose, minerals, ions and hormones. The blood cells are mainly red bloods, that is erythrocytes, white blood cells, that is leukocytes, and in mammals platelets, that is thrombocytes. The most abundant cells are red blood cells. This contains hemoglobin which facilitates oxygen transported by reversible binding to it, increasing its solubility, that is vertebrates have an adaptive immune system based largely on white blood cells. White blood cells help to resist infections and parasites. Platelets are important in the clotting of blood. Blood is circulated around the body through blood vessels by pumping action of the heart. In animals, the lungs, arterial blood of the body, and venous blood carries carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism produced by cells, from the tissues to the lungs to be exhaled. Blood is bright red when its hemoglobin is oxygenated and dark in red when it is deoxygenated. And blood performs many important functions within the body, including supply of oxygen to tissues, that is bound to hemoglobin which is carried in red cells. Next is supply of nutrients such as glucose, amino acids and fatty acids, that is dissolved in the blood or bound to plasma proteins. Examples are blood lipids. And next is removal of waste such as carbon dioxide, urea and lactic acid. Immunological functions including circulation of white blood cells and detection of foreign material by antibodies. And coagulation, the response to a broken blood vessels, the conversion of blood from liquid to a semi-solid semi-solid gel to stop bleeding. Messenger functions includes the transport of hormones and the signaling of tissues damage, regulation of core body temperature, that is hydraulic functions. And blood is circulated around the body through blood vessels by the pumping action of the heart. In humans, blood is pumped from the strong left ventricles of the heart through arteries to peripheral tissues and returns to the right atrium to the heart through veins. It then enters in the right ventricles and is pumped through the pulmonary artery and to the lungs and returns to the left atrium through the pulmonary valves. Blood then enters the left ventricles to be circulated again. Arterial blood carries oxygen from inhaled air and to the cells to the body, and venous blood carries carbon dioxide a waste product of metabolism by cells, to the lungs to be exhaled. However, one exception includes pulmonary arteries, which contains the most blood cells and deoxygenated blood in the body, while the pulmonary veins contain oxygenated blood. Additional return flow may be generated by the movement of skeletal muscle, which can compress veins and push blood through the valves and veins towards the right atrium. Next is cell production and degradation. In cell production and degradation in vertebrates, the various cells or bloods are made in the bone marrow in a process called hematopoiesis, which includes erythrocytes, that is production of blood cells, and myopoiesis, that is production of white blood cells and platelets. During childhood, almost every human being produces red blood cells. As adults, red blood cell production is limited to the larger bones. The bodies of the vertebrates and breastbone and the ribcage and pelvic bones and the bones of the upper arms and legs. In addition, during the childhood, the thymus gland found in the mediastinum is an important source of T lymphocytes. The proteinous component of blood, including clotting proteins, is produced predominantly by the liver, while hormones are produced by the endocrine glands, and the watery fraction is regulated by the hypothalamus and maintained by the kidney. Healthy erythrocytes have plasma life of about 120 days before the degraded by the spleen and the Kupffer cells in the liver. In oxygen transport, about 98.5% of the oxygen in a sample arterial blood in a healthy human breathing air of sea level pressures is chemically combined and with hemoglobin, and about 1.5% of a physically dissolved in the other blood liquids and not connected to hemoglobin. The hemoglobin molecules is the primary transport of oxygen in mammals and many other species. Hemoglobin has a oxygen binding capacity between 1.36 and 1.40 ml of oxygen per gram hemoglobin, which is a total that blood oxygen capacity compared to the oxygens were carried by its solution, and 0.03 ml oxygen per liter blood pressure of oxygen carries. In carbon dioxide transport, carbon dioxide is carried in blood in three different ways. That is, the exact percentage vary depending whether it is arteries or venous blood, and most of the is about 70% is converted to bicarbonate ions, that is enzymes carbonic anhydrase in the blood cells by the reaction. And hemoglobin, the main oxygen carrying molecule, red blood cells carries both oxygen and carbon dioxide. In mammals, blood is equilibrium with lymph, which is continuously formed in tissues from blood cells capillary ultrafiltration. Lymph is collected by the system of small lymphatic vessels and directed to the thrombotic duct, which drains into the left subscalene vein, where lymph rejoins the systemic blood circulation. This is all about blood. Thank you.